Hey, everybody, and welcome to Cancer in the Room, the podcast. Now, the goal of our podcast is to highlight the inspiring stories of athletes, sports executives, and media personalities who have faced and beaten cancer. Now, in sports, the term cancer in the room is often applied to a person whose behavior is somewhat disruptive, maybe a little negative toward their teammates or organization. Now, in our particular case, all of us on this podcast have had cancer, and we continue to battle each day. Now, the spin on all of this is that cancer is real, it is hard, and we have a ton of life to live, and we're going to do exactly that. And we all have to deal with cancer in the room. Now, one of the things we're pushing forward is that this is going to be done in a positive manner. We are looking fun at doing this. Plus, we love talking about sports. My name is Bryn Griffiths, and your name is Dave Jamieson.
It is indeed. It is indeed.
Who we got on the big show today?
Joining us on the show today is Steve Carlson. Steve is a former pro hockey player and a star, one of the stars of the movie Slapshot. And if you know Steve Carlson and you know the movie Slapshot, you know they like to fight. And Steve has been fighting and winning his battle against cancer. Steve Carlson, welcome to Cancer in the Room. Steve, we like to start at really ground zero. When was your cancer diagnosis? What was the initial reaction?
We were in 2021 in September. My wife, Vicky, spotted a lump on my throat. And when I was living in Wisconsin, before I met her, I went to an ears, nose, and throat doctor in Wisconsin. He said, you just got a clogged saliva gland. So I never thought nothing of it. It would swell up and go away, swell up and go away. Well, this time with my neck, it never went away. And Vicky says, that's it. See, I never went to a doctor since 1988. After I retired from playing, I never went to a doctor no more. And so she said, you're going now. And I went there and they said, yep, we're going to do a biopsy on it. And it came back cancer. My reaction, wow. You know, my brother Jack had it, throat cancer. My brother Jeff had throat cancer. And now I got throat cancer. And I felt I felt terrible because, you know, everyone that mentions cancer, it's a death warrant. But mine, I was stage 4 it went into the lymph nodes, and I was afraid. I was afraid. There's no question about it. And I said, okay, let's battle this because the recovery rate was good. And I said, okay, let's go for it and let's battle this. And we went and got everything all done. I didn't have surgery. I did 8 weeks of chemotherapy or radiation. We had to drive from Johnstown every day for 8 weeks. It's an hour-and-a-half drive each way. Our appointment was 7:15 in the morning. So we would get up at 4 in the morning, go do the radiation, go to chemotherapy, and drive back home. And we did that for 8 weeks straight, Monday through Friday. So it was trying. It was hard. I don't recommend nothing. Cancer is a nasty, nasty disease. It has no pity on you. It'll destroy your body. And it almost destroyed me, but I had great support with my wife. She was my caregiver and did a wonderful job. And the support I got from not only from the United States, Canada, and Europe, it was overwhelming, and it got me through it.
One of the things that we've recognized by talking to various people on this podcast is that the battle is ongoing. And, you know, in your particular case, it's still going on. You've had a crazy last few weeks, and who knows, somebody could download this podcast 6 months from now, but explain exactly what's happened since you and I talked 2 weeks ago just to set this up.
What happened is when you have cancer and you throat cancer, after you get your treatment all done, you go every 3 months for 2 years for checkups. And my first 3-month checkup was cancer-free. Everything was great, looking good. My next 3 months treatment, cancer-free, everything is looking good. Then my year end, after my second 3-month treatment, my radiologist said, hey, listen, Steve, you're doing so well. You don't have to come back no more for 6 months. So I skipped 2 years of treatment. You know, I'm going back every 3 months. Now I'm going back every 6 months. Well, my year-end treatment, I went back and they said, everything's looking good. Nothing's changed. You're looking great. About a week and a half, 2 weeks later, I got a call from the RN nurse that says, we had two other people look at your scans and all that stuff, and we see something significant. I go, what? And she goes, yeah. And she goes, we can't. I said, is it cancer? Well, we don't know. But we see something significant. Well, now, and we won't have an appointment till June. I said, you mean I got to wait for 3 or 4 months before I even get my next scan? I got to wait and think I have cancer again? But we got on the phone and we got the ears, nose, and throat doctor a week and a half later. I went there last week. They shoved the scope down my nose into my throat to look at what's going on down there. And the ears, nose, and throat doctor says, listen, it looks good. We believe it might be just scar tissue because I had 3 biopsies done in 6 months, or actually in 8 weeks. It looks good, but we just want to really make sure that. And so we're going to do another scan on you, a PET scan on you, just to make sure everything's fine, cancer free. So I'm getting that done in about 3 weeks.
Congratulations on that, Steve. Did you handle the highs and the lows of cancer? Because you can get real low, as you've alluded to, and then you get the news, hey, I'm clear and I'm good, it's looking good, and then you get hit with another low. How do you balance and stay functioning?
Well, I didn't handle it very well. I didn't handle it up well because, my wife did a lot of research on chemotherapy and all that stuff, and they come back with there's a such thing as chemo brain. It affects your brain with the chemotherapy and the radiation and all that stuff. And I didn't handle it well at all. What really kept me going, and not only with my wife as a caregiver, she did everything. And you feel worthless because all you do is sit around and sleep because the radiation kicks your butt, the chemotherapy kicks your butt. You're not eating well. I went down from 170 to 140 in my weight, and I didn't handle it well. But like I said, I had a great support system with my wife, but also not only that, I had a great fan base that was overwhelmingly supportive of me. They supported me not only emotionally, but the prayers that they sent out to me, not only in the United States and Canada, but also Europe, all over the place. That helped a lot. And I read every one of them. I read the letters and cards that they sent me. It was very uplifting and very humbling. Because, we would do the shows at the Hanson Brothers. We'd do 25 to 30 events a year. And I would go into an event, like when I was living in California, we were living in California. We would fly to the East Coast, which is 3 hours different. We would fly in Friday night, do our show Saturday, leave at 6 o'clock in the morning, our flight out of, say, LaGuardia in New York, which is 3 o'clock in California time. We would fly in Sunday afternoon and get ready for next Friday again. We're going again. Didn't realize what I actually did, how much money we helped raise, how many people we helped emotionally with being around the Hanson Brothers and what we did as a group. I didn't realize that. And right now, when I had the cancer and people are supporting me and it's very humbling what I'm doing. And that's why when we got our Hockey Fights Cancer shirts in, or putting on a full cancer jerseys in. And that's why what I'm doing now is the people that have bought the jerseys, we're offering a free Zoom where they can watch me sign the jersey and I can talk to them for about 15, 20 minutes just to give them the thanks and thank you for the support that they've given me.
Got to ask you about something. I call it the default, and you touched on it a couple of minutes ago. I think we've both kind of gone through it ourselves, where everything's going okay, and then maybe your shoulder's a little sore, and you go, "Uh-oh, what's going on here?" Your brain just kind of defaults back to cancer constantly. At least it has for me, Dave. I know we've gone through this. Did you go through that at all, where every time maybe something was not feeling quite right, you started to wonder, is this a return? Because I keep hearing that from so many people that go through this.
No, when my shoulder hurt, I just remember Clark Gillies unloading on me. It's a little different from my aches and pains. I played 14 years and coached 5 years pro, but the aches and pains I didn't really feel that. I wasn't on any medication. I didn't take any nauseous pills. I didn't lose my taste buds. I was hungry all the time, but I just couldn't eat. It was like having a worst sunburn in your life and rubbing a steel brush down your throat, because that's what it felt like trying to eat. And one more thing, you asked me how I felt when they came back and says they found something substantial. I remember telling Vicky about that. My wife, I told her, I said, it felt like Gordie Howe just gave me an elbow and Bob Probert just punched me in the face. It was like that. That's what it felt like.
Steve, what did you draw on from your life as a professional athlete and as a coach that would have given you inspiration in this fight? I mean, because you rose to the top of the game at the time you were playing, and you were among an elite group of people who were able to play professionally in hockey. Did you draw on any lessons, experiences that you had as an athlete to take into the stuff you were dealing with cancer?
Discipline. You can't play hockey unless you're disciplined. You have to be disciplined in your own end. You have to be disciplined in neutral zones, and you have to be disciplined on your offensive skills. Being a cancer patient, you have to be very disciplined, because you know what you're in for. You know what you're going through, but you can't give up. The game's not over until the final buzzer, and we refused to give up. We battled through this. It was hard driving to Pittsburgh every day, no question about it. But I didn't do that. I slept. And that's the sad thing about it is, as a cancer patient, you look at your caregivers, they have to do it all the work. They have to take care of you. They have to wake you up. They have to feed you. They have to not clothe you, but they have to drive you to where you have to go to make your appointments. They have to make sure that the fire is burning, and the grocery store is there, the meals are there, and they have to do it all. They take the garbage out, feed the dog, walk the dog. They have to do it all, and that's a sad thing about the cancer. Not sad, but they don't get enough credit for what they do. That's one of the reasons why we want to get back. I want to get back on the road, because Vicky says, "Oh well, you're my husband. I love you. That's why I'm doing it." I know that, but they don't get the credit. I want to go out there and make sure everyone realizes that the caregivers, they have to go through this also. Not only the cancer patients, the caregivers have to. They have to feel all the emotions you go through. They have to feel all the pain you're going through, and not only that, now they have to do all the work, because you can't do nothing. And that's one of the big reasons why I'm thanking people for what they've done for me to help me out.
3 years ago, Dale Howardchuk told me, before I went in to have my stomach removed because of stomach cancer, he said, whatever you do, whatever the doctors and the nurses tell you, listen 100% and do it. Don't question it, just do it. Did you have the same approach when you were dealing with the caregivers at the hospital?
Well, we had a little problem at the beginning, because when I first started, I went into a clinical trial.
Okay.
And, I figured, okay, why don't I try to help someone else out if I can? And they injected me with Pembro and another drug, and I had a reaction to it, and it didn't work well at all.
Okay, sure. So obviously we've talked about the caregivers at home. We've talked about the caregivers at the hospital, that kind of thing. But you've also gone down a little different road that some people don't go down, and that is you've found a different spiritual level that's also got you through a level of this as well. Do you want to get into that for a couple of seconds?
No question. I was baptized in 2021, and it was one of probably the best things that ever happened in my life, and I don't know why I waited so long. And my brother Jack, who was a reborn Christian and a sports ministry, he's in the sports ministry a little bit, and I would talk to him and says, "Don't push that Bible studies on me. Don't be a Bible pusher. Don't be a Bible pusher." And as soon as I got baptized in Johnstown, Pennsylvania, at Queen Dam, I called him up immediately. I said, "I apologize. I really, really apologize for what I said to you and how I said it. It is probably the most uplifting event I ever had in my life. It changed my life. I have a great faith in God right now. We do our devotions every morning. I go to Bible studies on Wednesday. It is a changing life situation, and it's very. I have no trouble. I have no problem now preaching the word of God and saying to people, bless you and hope everything happens, because God has a plan for you, and He has a plan for me. He has a plan on what I'm going to be doing in life. That's why the devil tried to get me with cancer. That didn't work. Then he tried to shut me up by pulling all my teeth out. Well, that didn't work, because I'm still talking. Then he tried to come back with me at cancer again, and that's not going to work. So
Right.
we're on the right road, right path of with God, and the road is a lot brighter than it used to be.
And then finally, to kind of wrap this up, and then we'll talk about your playing career, is the amount of support you've received from fans. I know that we've both been broadcasters, and people were coming out of the woodwork, the hockey community in particular, but other sports people were reaching out to us as well to boost our spirits. Was there anybody that did you get a text or an email or anybody from anybody where you went, wow, I never saw that coming, or that kind of surprised me a little bit? Anything like that?
Yeah, Davey Keon.
Okay.
Wow.
And Gretz got a hold of me. He contacted me and asked, and a lot of my former players that I played with, Brian Troche, huge supporter in Pittsburgh here, and no, it's been overwhelming with players. And one of your Edmonton scouts, Archie Henderson, he contacted me.
Yeah.
He wanted to know how things were going, all that stuff. Phil Bork with the Penguins. Doc Emmerich was a huge supporter of mine. He would light a candle for me almost every day. Doc would light a candle for me every day, and that's the type of person he was. And it was that was and my former coach I was with for many years, Gino Briaco, huge supporter. And unfortunately, right now he's battling right now with his wife having cancer, but she's doing really well. And no, the hockey support was unbelievable. People would contact me and call me, but those are just a few that I can remember right now.
Steve, with your playing career, I'm talking outside of Slapshot, is there a story, a moment, or a thing you're most proud of, or that is your hockey memory that you really cherish?
Well, yeah, because one thing I don't get credit for is when Gretzky got traded from Indianapolis to Edmonton, they had him room with me because he couldn't skate or shoot, and I taught him everything he knows, and I get no credit for it. That's pretty upsetting. That's just like trying to do a film with Paul Newman. He never won an Academy Award till after Slapshot. We taught. Universal wanted to get him over the top to give him the Academy Award. Okay, let's put him with the Hanson Brothers. You notice he won the Academy Award after Slapshot. But I remember when I was coaching in Memphis, we did an event that we weren't drawing very well, and I brought Dave and Jeff in. Short hair, mustaches, weren't the characters we were at that time, and we did a signing at one of our games, and we sold the building out. And so Dave had an event in where he was a general manager of the Capital District Islanders, Albany River Rats right now. And he brought in Gordie Howe and the Hanson Brothers, and we filled his arena. And we're at the banquet that day. And I centered Gordie Howe and Mark Howe in Hartford. And so Gordie is a good friend of ours. And one of the questions at our banquet was, Steve, who's your idol in hockey? And he put me on a spot big time. And I looked down at Gordie. I said, Gordie, I'm really sorry, but Davey Keon is the one I patted. I tried to pat my game after, and he goes, hey, you picked a good one. And so that was pretty amazing with the hockey world. And, there's only a select few that can say that they roomed with Gretzky and played with Gordie Howe and Gretzky, and I'm one of them. So it was one of the things I can talk about as my playing career. Play with Gordie Howe and Mark Howe as my wingers. First time they brought me up and put me at center, they told me, say, Steve, go in front of the net, put your blade on the ice and point it towards the net. It will put it off your stick. It'll go in. I got player of the week before I didn't even shoot the puck once. I got 4 goals that week. I got player of the week without even shooting the puck. So that's how good they were.
Hey, let's get to the movie part, because it's amazing how this thing just continues to. It just regenerates. The interest level is so intense. But I've been meaning to ask you this: did you find Slapshot, or did Slapshot find you? How did the whole thing come together?
Bryn, the movie's based on the 3 Carlson brothers. We played as a line in Johnstown. We had long hair, black glasses, way before the movie even started. And that's the way my brothers played. You see Jack play in the WHA with the Edmonton Oilers. He was an enforcer. And who's the fool? I dumped the puck in, let my brothers go get it. I'll be in the deep slot. I'll shoot the puck in. That's no big deal. But going in the stands in playing in Johnstown with the Johnstown Jets in the North American Hockey League. We did that in Utica, New York. Jumping a team in warm-ups, that actually happened against the Buffalo Norsemen. All this stuff that we did, we just reenacted this stuff. We got arrested in Utica, New York for going to the stands. We were up for 1 to 5 years. You know, we just went in there and just started fighting people. And a lot of that stuff in the film is true. You know, we won the championship when we played. We did go in the stands. We did jump the team in warm-ups. They refused to come back on the ice. We won the series 3-2. So we just reenacted the film, and they wanted actors to do our roles, but they couldn't skate well enough. So the director and the producers and Nancy Dowd, who wrote the screenplay, she goes, why don't we give these guys a reading? And we read for them, and it says, okay, do you guys want to do the roles? And we said, sure, why not? We didn't have to work that summer, you know. So we filmed 1 month left in the season and 2 months into the summer. You know, it's kind of amazing. Slapshot, it took 3 months to film. Right. Slapshot 2 took 6 weeks to film, and Slapshot 3 took 28 days.
So you got better at your craft. Hey,
Dave, a lot of people don't realize we won Best Supporting Actors for Slapshot 2 at the DVD premiere. The Hanson Brothers did, and that's a fact. That's a fact.
When Steve, in the moment, you're doing a movie, you don't know how it's going to be received, and you don't know how long it's going to have a life. And here we are many, many years later, and it's a cultural thing as much as it is a piece of filmmaking. Like, it's now you and the movie itself are part of not just hockey culture, but sports culture.
Right. Right. One thing you got to remember when Slapshot first came out, it wasn't received very well at all. The NHL just didn't like it because they thought we were promoting fighting. And one of the things that we kept on saying is we don't promote fighting. We promote in your face. If a fight breaks out, so be it. You know, if someone they have the puck, they should be hit. That's the game. Another thing where on David Letterman, Siskel and Ebert, the film critics, they asked him a question. He says, did you ever make a mistake on a film? And they gave us 2 thumbs down. He says, yeah, Slapshot. They gave us 2 thumbs up. And Paul Newman doing Slapshot says one of the best films he ever did, having the most fun he ever had doing Slapshot. So,
is he a better skater than most people think?
Oh, he was. He actually skated. Yeah. He actually played when he was younger. And before we started filming, he started skating about 2 months before we started filming. Right. So he did very well for himself. There was only a few scenes where he couldn't skate, where they had a stunt double do his own skating.
I got to say this because I wrote these down, and you can jump in at any point. I'm going to mention a few topics, and then I'm sure you got a story or two before we let you go here. Train sets, the glasses, a personal bounty on the head of Tim McCracken. What's that all about? Like, and the foil? How did this all come up, man?
True stories in hockey. Train set. On Sundays, the bar in Johnstown was all the bars are closed on Sundays. So Guido, the pretty boy, and Dave Hanson lived on the 3rd floor. We and my 2 brothers lived on the 2nd floor. The landlady lived on the 1st floor. And on Sundays, we'd pull all the furniture out of Dave and Guido's apartment, set up our race car sets throughout the apartment, have a keg grape or orange on it, stick a root beer over, and have the team come over, and we'd race our cars and bet on them. Just to have a team party. Then on, let's see, what else do you have?
Wow.
Well, you got
pretty crazy. Well, Tim McCracken, you have a personal bounty on the head. Is that true?
That actually happened in the United States Hockey League. Our coach, Oki Brum, we were playing the Green Bay Bobcats, and there's a gentleman that played for Green Bay Bobcats, and anyone that knocks him on his ass is getting a $100 bill. Well, we only made $35 a game that day, so $100 is huge. Hey. My brother Jack got it.
About the glasses and the foil, because that's obviously those are huge trademarks.
That in real life, the 3 Carlson brothers had the black safety glasses like Al Arbor used to wear, and what they did is because they fought so often, they taped their knuckles up like boxers. Then they outlawed tape on your hands. So the mentality of a hockey player, okay. Remember the old golf gloves they used to have, the old thick leather ones? We would scuff up the knuckles and get them soaking wet and put them on our radiators and make sure you fought that first shift because once the leather got wet, it would soften up, and it was hard as rocks. That the scuff marks on the knuckles. But that's where that's old time hockey right there. But they just added a little foil to it just to make it sparkle.
Hey, a couple of other things. Bruce Boudreau was in this movie. He was like one of the opposition players, but they used his real apartment for Paul Newman's apartment. Did you know that story? Is that true?
Yeah. Bruce wasn't the cleanest person I ever met in my life, but yeah, they used his apartment. Yeah, Buck was pretty funny in that film. He actually wanted to score goals, so he'd be on the film all the time. I mean, he did score a couple goals where he was in the green jersey, number 7, where he'd flash by the camera, looking at, I'm amazed that he didn't look at the camera the whole time.
Okay, well, listen, we're going to let you roll because we know you got a million other interviews, and maybe we'll come back and we'll give you a shout. But I know one thing's for sure. I now have your phone number. I'm going to be calling a ton to make sure that you're doing good.
Yeah.
Thrilled that Vicky's looking after you. You got great doctors, great caregivers, and you know how much the fans love you out there. So thanks for your time today. And thanks. Most important thing about this podcast for us is we're trying to send positive messaging out to people that, while you continue to do this fight and you get through it, there's a lot of life to live, man, and you're living it, right?
It really is, and it's the attitude that really counts. It's your attitude that really counts a lot. When you're going through cancer, attitude is everything. And I pray for everyone. I hope everyone is feeling good, and God bless everyone. Bryn, Dave, thank you so much for having me. Really appreciate it.
Helping a lot of people. I can't thank you enough for the time, and I know our viewers will really appreciate your wisdom and your experience.
I'm looking forward to coming back on the show. Thank you guys. Appreciate it.
Fantastic. Really appreciate it. Oh, yeah. Just bare knuckles for us, I'm afraid.
Yeah.
Great.
You got it. Thanks, boys.
This series is proudly produced by the team at Road 55. Road 55 creates content that connects. For more information, check our website, www.road55.ca.